Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the organizing committee for this FDP program, I, Gaurav Kumar, profoundly delighted to take an opportunity to introduce our next expert, Professor Vikas Rastogi. He is going to deliver his lecture on robotics and AI in transformative manufacturing. Professor Vikas Rastogi is working as a professor in the Mechanical Engineering Department, Delhi Technological University, DTU, Delhi. He did his PhD in the area of dynamics and modeling on extending Lagrangian Hamiltonian mechanics from the IIT Kharagpur in 2005. He has vast teaching experience of around 25 years at various positions at Sant Longowal Institute of Engineering and Technology, Longowal, Punjab, a deemed university established by Government of India, and Delhi Technological University, Delhi. He has contributed 60 plus research papers in various international journals and 70 plus conference papers of national and international levels. He has guided 11 PhD theses and supervised 23 MTech dissertations. His research interests include dynamics, modeling simulation, and structural vibrations. Of NBA for evaluating Tier 1 and Tier 2 institute and a peer expert for OBE. He is on the editorial board of many reputed journals and international program committee members of various reputed conferences by SCS and IEEE. He has been Dean SNW, member of BOM and coordinator TQ3 at DTU, and also the chairman of BTech Admission Committee in 2014 and 15 at TTU. Now, with this verse, I would request Professor Vikas Rastogi to kindly start the session. Sir, please.
Yes, thank you, Gaurav, to introduce me. And first of all, I am very thankful to the organizer to invite me to deliver lecture on a very new horizon of integrations of robotics and AI. And this field is basically gradually expanded in the last 5 to 10 years and having a bright future in the next 10 to 20 years. So first of all, I would like to congratulate the entire team of the FDP programs, and it is really a matter of a great pride that this is the first ATAL program is being organized in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. So I am sharing my presentations. So let me have my presentations. So, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, just a minute. So, today I will talk about the robotics and artificial intelligence, and which will prove as a new horizon to transform manufacturing. So, we will go one by one the aspect of robot, the aspect of artificial intelligence, and how artificial intelligence is being used in the robots' day-to-day decisions so that it can transform the manufacturing area. Basically, all the welding, all the manufacturing, machining, and all such kind of a field can transform by using such tool of artificial intelligence. So in this view, we can first have the outline of my presentations. So this is, we will give you some small brief introduction of robotics and artificial intelligence, and what is the robotics relevance to AI, why it is required, and because the definitions of robot is different when it is seen from the eyes of a computer scientist as an artificial intelligence. Now we will also see some current development in robotics and AI, how the different technologies has been evolved around the world by integrations of these two important aspects, and we will see some current implementations and what are the roadblock to this robotic research, and we will see some future scope of such important tools to transform manufacturing. So this is the overview of my presentation, and let us see few of the situations here where you can see the robot can be used in many of such situations. So you can see it can use in the locomotion work. It can be used for dealing with the precise tools and precise assembly. It can be used for different manufacturing part in the industrial hub. You can see, and you can see it can be used to sense many of the important data, and it can be used as a tele robots for the medical applications, and it can be used for the ice field and some space applications and underwater applications. So in all such applications, the robot is there to transform the manufacturing. So what is the basic importance of a robot in the manufacturing area? The importance of a robot in the manufacturing area is that it can be used for those work which are quite repetitive in nature. So when you are quite repetitive in nature as a human being, we just get bored for doing the same work again and again, again and again. So to reduce such kind of the repetitivity, to reduce such kind of the repeated work, the robot are employed. The another feature to employ the robot in manufacturing is that we, by applying the robot in the manufacturing, we can reduce the safety and hazards environment. So whenever they can be used in some hazardous situations like casting, like metallurgical operations, and like other operations, so such kind of the health hazards issues can be reduced to a little one. So those are the important features for a robot to be applied in the manufacturing area. So now let us introduce about the definitions. So if you will see these two definitions, the one definition is given by Russell and Norvig, and this definition is basically from the eye of intelligence, from the eyes of artificial intelligence. So basically a robot is an active artificial agent whose environment is the physical world. So that is very true. So whenever we make some artificial machines, it can be termed as an artificial agent in the eyes of computer scientists. So that is the definitions given by the Russell and Norvig. But there is a very popular definition which we used to learn in the robotics, that it is a programmable multifunctional manipulator which can be designed to move material parts and can perform a variety of tasks. So such definitions can be given by the RIA, Robotic Institute of America, for the mechanical engineering. Now, this is the new era where the artificial intelligence is being integrated with the robots, so that robot can be considered as a artificial agent. So robot is basically an artificial agent. It is not a real agent. It is not a real worker. It is an artificial agent which is being programmed by the computer scientists so that it can perform the task in the real world. So in this whole scenario, the machine is the artificially made, but the environment is the real one. So external environment is the real one in this kind of a situation. So that is the type of integrations with the artificial intelligence and the AI. Now let us discuss the very few things. What is a robot? How we can define the robot in AI or in the other words. So we can go all such of details in the few slides. So robotics is a domain in artificial intelligence that deals with the study of creating intelligent and efficient robot. So when we talk about a robot and when we talk about an intelligent robot, these two terms are the different term. The robot is basically taken from the word from the Czech robot in 1921. It is a Czech it is a Czech word which means the slave. So robot is termed as a slave in its evolution process in the 1921. And then afterwards, the Asimov has given few rules to guide the robot so that it can create so that it can be created by the human being. But when we talk about such important technology, such kind of the robot with the artificial environment, that will be called as an intelligent robot. So intelligent robot is that robot which can take its own decision and it can think itself. So that means the cognitive features of the mind can be integrated with the robot so that it can perform that task. So in that way, we will give you some glimpses of the architecture of an intelligent robot so that whatever the abstract knowledge of the different sciences can be integrated with the robot programming. So those are the things. Now, what are the objective of this robot? The robots are aimed at manipulating the object by perceiving, picking, moving, and modifying the physical properties of object, and also the repetitive functions can be done without getting bored, so that without getting bored, without being distracted, and without getting exhausted. So as a human being, we got exhausted after doing certain work or after a certain period of time. But in that way, the robot can perform the limitless work within no time. So such kind of the features are useful in the industrial world. So now let us talk about, I think the robot definitions we have already gone through. So these are the three important part that a robot can be reprogrammable. You can do the program again and again. As soon as you change the program, the robot functionality can be changed, robot approach can be changed, and robot work area can be changed. The multifunctional, so it can do a multifunctional task from painting, spraying, for machining, from welding, from assembling. So all features can be integrated in a multifunctional robot. And another one, it is sensible for the environment. So when it is very sensible for the environment, so at that situation, we have to program the robot so that it can take its own decision in the conflicting environment. So what do you understand by the meaning of the conflicting environment? The conflicting environment is that environment where robot has certain inputs, whether it can do this one or whether it can do this one. So how robot can be able to do, because you are not always present there. So robot is being programmed from the approach of machine learning, from the approach of the deep learning, so that the decision can be optimized and he can take the very relevant decision among the choices. So that among the different alternatives. So such kind of the things is possible with the invent of AI in a robot. So now let us discuss another features of the artificial intelligence. So now let us go through the detail of the artificial intelligence. So John McCarthy is the father of the artificial intelligence. So he has given a very important definitions of the AI, that the science and engineering of making intelligent machines, especially intelligent computer programs, are called the artificial intelligence. So why we call it the artificial intelligence? The artificial intelligence is a way of making a computer or making a computer controlled robot or a software which can think intelligently in the similar manner as we think, as the human thing, as the intelligent human thing. So those features can be integrated with the robot. So AI in this way can do how human brain thinks. So they can take these features of the human brain, that how human learn, how human decide, and how the human being work while trying to solve a complex problem. So such kind of a feature, such kind of the cognitive features can be introduced in the robot, and that kind of a feature can be called that kind of a robot can be called as a intelligent robot. So this is the definitions of an intelligent robot, that the robot can learn, decide, and solve a complex problem. So that will be called as an intelligent robot. So robot is different, but an intelligent robot can can be defined and can be called when it can take its own decision. So such kind of the features can be introduced by this way. So now let us see some of its philosophy. So philosophy of the AI is that can a machine think and behave like a human do? So that is the question. So if this question is an affirmation, yes, we can do this one. So as you say, yes, you are introducing the artificially intelligent agent into your machines. So that will feature give you the philosophy of AI. The next, what is the next philosophy? That AI started with the intention of creating a similar intelligence in machine as we find and regard high in the human beings. So as you say, among the all creatures in the world, the uh, uh, the human being is called as intelligent. I think it is the intelligent human is called the intelligent among all the species of the world. So that kind of a intelligence can be introduced in your machine. So if your machine is the artificially intelligent, that can create a wonder not only in the industrial world but many aspects of the applications like medical world, like transportation world, like food industries, like logistic warehouse. So in many of such situations it can do the wonder. So such kind of a features can be introduced and such kind of a philosophy can be introduced in the with the advent of AI. So let us discuss few of the important part. So when we call about the artificial intelligence, so many people say that it is the computer scientist business, it is the learned by the mathematicians and other things. But I want to say that it is not such kind of a thing. The artificial intelligence can not be an area of interest for the mechanical engineer or a computer scientist or the mathematicians. It can be learned. It can learn the new aspect with the integration of the fine arts. So you can see in this part the sociology, the philosophy, the psychology. All these are the fine arts and taken from the fine art domain, and that can guide because human is a social animal. The human being are the social animal. So if we know our features where we have to say no, what we have to do in such situation. So all behavior science can be integrated in your machines. The philosophy, it can have the philosophy also. So it can have the different philosophical features in your artificial intelligence. So philosophy is basically guided by your brain. The logic, the philosophy is always guided by the logic. So if you are having the logic, you can have the artificial intelligence too. Then computer science is there only to write your code. So if you know the different coding, different features, you can write your code. So that is used only for the programming part. The psychology is that what the human think and how the human think. So it can start with the your needs and drive. So in such features the artificial intelligence tool can do a progress. The another one is the neuron science. So neuron science is how different information gathered in your brain. So there are so many billions neurons are there in your brain where the information are gathered in small pockets, in small quantums. And another feature is the biology. Naturally, when we talk about the brain features, so we have to discuss something about the biology field and the mathematics. The mathematics is always there whenever you have to write the differential equations, whenever you write the logic, whenever you write a model, whenever you write a conceptual model into a mathematical model. So all this important tools has to be studied. So in this way, you will find that the artificial intelligence is not the business of the computer scientist or the other engineers or the other thing. I think it require a very wide spectrum of knowledge, not only from the social sciences, also from the engineering and the general sciences like physics, mathematics, and biology. So all such features can be importantly used in the AI. Now let us discuss few of its applications and how it can be introduced in the intelligent robot. So I think the applications of AI is not only in the gaming, natural language processing, expert systems, vision systems, speech recognitions, handwriting recognitions. I think many important tools nowadays are working in this area. So there are different laboratory in the different aspect in the different area of the world where the people are doing research in this area. But as far as concerned with the intelligent robot, they have the very efficient processors and the multiple sensors as a huge enemy. So when we are having a very good processor and a multiple sensors, the multiple sensors are there when you can take a lot of data from the sensor. So when you are taking a lot of data, it required a huge memory, and when you are having a lot of data, it can exhibit the intelligence because you are using certain tools to exhibit the intelligence. And in this way, you just teach the robot from that learning so that it can learn from its mistake and they can adapt to a new environment. So what we used to do in such kind of the system, we used to adopt the knowledge from these all basic sciences, and we used to train the robot so that it can intelligently behave in that aspect. So I think we will give some of the examples in the another slide in the future slides, but those aspects can be extracted from your basic sciences and from the knowledge of your basic sciences, and those knowledge can be manipulated, features are extracted, and those features are being programmed so that they can train to the machine. So that in that features we use the aspect of the machine learning, the deep learning, the neural learning, so that the robot can understand all those aspects and behave and guide in such situations. So that will be called as an intelligent robot. Now you can see some of the areas, research areas of the AI where it can use. So robotics and AI is one of the important area, but beside that, the nowadays the natural language processing. So the artificial intelligence tool is basically implemented in the local languages or in the regional languages so that it can process and it can understand the basic feature of such languages. Expert system, I think it is quite popular in many of the engineering applications. The neural network and fuzzy logics are being used as a optimization tools, and again we use the knowledge of the artificial intelligence so that it can optimize in the best possible way. So I think if you are having such kind of a such kind of the optimizations, and it can have a 0.9 on a scale of 1, so that means the machine is learning to a good extent. So such, I think many of such features can be, you have taken in many of the features of the your own work so that it can translate into a machine work. So those things are being done, and those research areas are nowadays are exploded. Why I'm saying that these are areas that are exploded, because nowadays not only in the computer science and the information technology, each kind of the engineering is being each branch of the engineering is using those features in their trade so that they can make the student capable to understand in the changing scenario in the next 10 to 20 years. So those features, I think those are the features are also incorporated in the new education policy given by the government of India in the last year. Now let us have few of the task classification. So when we talk about the task classification, the overall task can be divided into the three aspects. The one is the formal task, the second is the mundane kind of a task, and third one is the expert task. So when we talk about the formal task, we know the game theory, we know the different games, the different probability concept and the other concept. So these are the formal tasks where the artificial intelligence tool can be used. What are the mundane tasks? The mundane tasks are those tasks where we perceive some knowledge. The knowledge is perceived. So whenever we perceive some knowledge, it is not quantified. The knowledge is not quantified whenever we have the perception. So perception knowledge is being quantified. We have some common sense, we are having some reasoning, and we are having certain language processing. So all knowledge can be having some perception point of view, and those knowledge can be integrated with the mathematical model, and that mathematical model can be further be used to guide and to train the robot and other work. The another important features can be used in the expert task. So as expert tasks are the medical diagnostic tool. So if you are having a medical history of a human being, and if there is certain cells developed in the human body, the you can easily distinguish what are the clinical history of a human being, what are the features. So it can predict, it can predict from your diagnostic tools. So whatever the diagnostic you made at the different center, either the blood or the other kind of a test, it can predict in that sense. The machine is guided, the robot is guided in such a way that it can predict the illness in advance. The another feature is the scientific analysis. The scientific analysis is also important, and another features are the engineering and the financial analysis. The financial analysis tool is being used nowadays in the share market. The share market, what share will go up and down, what are the feature, all the history, all the financial summary are loaded, and it can predict in a good way. So the system is simulated in the artificial environment, and it can predict which share will go up and which share will down. So basically, those features are being analyzed in such features. In this way, you can see a very good task classifications of AI. Now let us move further with this task classification to the robot. So in that way, now this is the current definitions. The robotics is a branch of AI nowadays. So which is composed all aspect of mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, computer science for designing, construction, and application of robot. So in this way, the aspect of robotics is quite changed, because this definition is I think 70, 80 years, this definitions given by the RIA is being popular around the world. But with the advent of the artificial knowledge, this definitions has some modifications. So those aspects we have to do. The robot have mechanical construction, form or shape designed to accomplish a particular task. They can have the electrical engineering is required for the actuating systems, and the computer scientists are required for making a program. So making a program required a deep understanding of the intelligent tools, and in this way, the robot must be able to guide according to the program. So such features can be introduced. Now, let us introduce what are the definitions, what is the difference in robot system and other AI program. So you can see with this one, AI program, they usually operate in the computer stimulated world, but robot is that machine which operate in a real physical world. Where in the AI program, the input to a AI program are the different symbols and rule, but input to a robot is analogy signal in the form of speech waveform or images. So you can have the different waveforms or images or different creatures. So that kind of the features can be introduced in the robot. The another is you require a general purpose computer to operate on, but where in the robot you require a very specialized hardware which is having the sensors and the end effector. The sensors are required to perceive the environment, and end effector are required to complete the work. So sensors are required for the perception, So whatever you are seeing here, the sensors are required. Just a minute. The sensor are required for the perception, and effectors are required for the action. So these are the two important hardware integrations in the case of a robot. So after doing this kind of a thing, let us see the different manipulators. So you are seeing the different manipulators. You are having some different access, different tools, different end effector. So in this feature, if you will see, this is called as a end effector. And you can see these are the different links. All these are the different links. And here you can see the telescopic arm, the manipulator in terms of a telescopic arm. So you can have it is having some Cartesian kind of a configuration. So whosoever have learned the robot, they know the design configuration. So it is one of that kind of the configurations in this part, which can be used in the industrial world. Now these are the leg robots. You can see how the leg robot can be used. So you are seeing this is a 4-leg robot, and robot can move here and there for the locomotions purposes. And here you are seeing it is the wheel robot. So you are seeing the different wheels. The wheel are guided in such a way that it can move on any kind of the surfaces. So this is the wheel robot. Then you can see the autonomous underwater vehicles. Nowadays, there is an area. This is one of the area where the robot can be used in a good way because of the defense purposes and because of the exploration purposes. The another is you see the unmanned aerial vehicle. The unmanned aerial vehicle nowadays, in terms of the aerial robot, or you call as the drone technology, is very important. And again, it requires not only the hardware integration, but it requires some deep understanding of the programming in terms of the artificial intelligence. So when once such kind of the machines will be there, they can take its own routine of thinking, and they can perform according to the conflicting in case of a conflicting environment, or in terms of a conflicting decisions. So after doing this one, let us see some more applications. So as I have already say that jobs that are dangerous for the human being, in such a way the robot can be used. So cleaning the main circulating pump housing in I think the nuclear power plant is one of the area where the human hazards or the safety is one of the important prime concern. So in such area, the robot is being used. And you can see one of the welding area. So welding area, again, you are different fumes generated due to the welding, due to the metallurgical application, and due to the plasma formation for the welding. So repetitive jobs that are bored, stressful, or labor intensive for humans, in such situations, the robot are being used. So after doing this one, these are the certain applications. The scrub mate robot is there, where the manual task that robot don't want to do. So where the human don't want to do such kind of so it is just the cleaning operations where you can apply the robot. Besides this, the robot can have the different relevance to the artificial intelligence. The very first is the locomotion. The another is the effector, the sensor, the architecture, and integration of the various inputs, where we can put all the information in a hierarchy hierarchy of the information representation, and we can also talk about the emotion. So once you learn all such kind of a features, you can extract the emotions, you can extract the information in terms of the information representation. You are much closer to the artificial intelligence world. So that means you are having one machine, and on one side you are having the different aspect of the features. The features, how these features can be understood, I think we can see a little brief about this knowledge in the few other slides. Now let us take one case of a legged robot, why AI is needed. So why AI is needed? So locomotion, I think all of you know what is the locomotion is. So locomotion is one of the mechanism where the robot is capable of moving its environment. So the robot can move in its environment with the help of either it can have the leg robot, either it can have the wheel robot, either it has a combination of both, or it can have the track slip or skid kind of a features. So when it will have the variety of the leg, so first we can have the leg robot. So when it has having the leg robot, it can walk, it can jump, it can trot, it can hoop, it can climb up, and it can climb down. So such kind of operations can be performed with the help of a leg robot. So when you used to do such kind of a operation, we either require the 1 leg, 2 leg, 4 leg, 6 leg, or multiple legs. So in the case of a multiple legs, the coordination of the leg is one of the important. So how this information is useful for the AI programming? The information is useful for the AI programming because the human being can analyze either the 1 leg robot or 2 leg robot. Once it can go beyond the 2 leg robot or 3 leg robot, I think it is very much difficult for a human being to understand those coordinations. So those coordinations can be assessed by the artificial intelligence tool, and the information is gathered by the help of sensors. So let us discuss this case again. So in this case, the total number of the possible gate position. So what is the gate? The gate is a periodic sequence of lift and release event. So when a human being is walking on a track, it is having such kind of the operation. It is having the sequence of lift and release event of each of the total leg. So a robot can travel, the robot travel can depend on number of its leg. So when a robot is having a K leg, you can see here when a robot is having a K leg, the number of possible event can be adjudged as this one. So n is the number of event kitni hogi? How much will be the number of event? The number of event will be 2k. So k is the lag, 2k minus 1 ka factorial. So in case of a 2 leg robot, you can see the number of the possible event is n is equal to 2k minus 1. So it is 2 into 2, 4 minus 1, yani factorial 3. So when you can expand the factorial 3, the value will be 6. So that means as a human being, we are having the 2 leg. So in this way, these are the 6 possible different events for the locomotion. So what are those locomotion? You can see yourself and you can adjudge yourself. So first is the lifting the left leg. First is this operation. If you are starting first motion from the left leg, so you are starting the lifting. Then what you are doing, you are releasing the first is lifting, then releasing. Then you are lifting the right leg, then releasing. Then lifting both leg together. This is the next operation, and releasing both leg together. So these are the 6 possible different events which has been guided by this formulation. So after doing this one, if you are having the 2 leg, the information is you can easily assimilate. You can easily adjudge the position. But once you are having a 6 leg in this case, the 6 leg case, the n will be in this case will be 6, 12 minus 1 ka factorial. So how much it will be? It will be 11 factorial. So 11 factorial, the overall number comes out to be this one. So you can see it will be 1000, then 10,000, lakh, 10 lakh, 3 crore 99 lakh 16,800 possible event. So can you think about these different events by yourself? क्या आप इतना सोच सकते हैं इतनी इवेंट्स के लिए रोबोट के लोकोमोशन में? अगर उसकी 6 लेग है, उसका कोऑर्डिनेशन आप समझ सकते हैं क्या?
No, sir.
It is very loose data. It is a very loose data. I think 2 लाख तक तो आपने बड़े आराम से 6 स्टेप में आपने समझ लिया, 3 में भी आप हो सकता है समझ सकते हैं, लेकिन if it go beyond the 3 lakh robot, I think the number of events, the number of information gathered is quite huge. So in such cases, the coordination point and the event points are just unimaginable. So if you are having such unimaginable, hence the complexity of the robot is directly proportional to the number of flags. And when you are increasing the number of flags for your applications, you can see how much data will be created, and you cannot solve this problem if you are not having the integration of artificial intelligence in your robot. अगर आपका 6 लाख का भी रोबोट है, अगर उसमें डिसीजन लेने की क्षमता नहीं है, if it cannot take its own decision, if it is not trained to take its own decision, then I think the very basic purpose to use the 6 leg is quite futile. You can make the hardware, but as far as concerned with the coordination of the different events, I think it is impossible to do. So that is why the AI is needed in this operation. So I have taken from the structural point of view of the robot, and there are the huge situation in the robot where you can find that robot can integrate with the artificial intelligence tool so that it can take the better decision. It can take the decision as the human do. So such kind of features are being trained to the human being. तो ऐसा तो एक मशीन ही कर सकती है, ह्यूमन बीइंग इतनी इवेंट्स को थिंक ओवर नहीं कर सकता है. So that is the idea. So now let us see the effectors. So whenever we see the effectors, it is the end effectors. So the end effectors are basically guided with the actuators. So the actuators are basically called as the muscle, of robot, whereas the end effector is called as the hand of the robot. So until unless your muscle is strong, you cannot use your hand. So if you have to carry a large load, you cannot carry a large load until unless you are not being actuated by a good muscles. So that is why this end effector have a role of actuating system. So this actuator system are basically guided by the electrical engineering, and we are having some electrical actuator, pneumatic actuators, hydraulic actuators, and mechanical actuators. So among this variety, the hydraulic actuators are having the highest capacity. So that is why I think you have seen in the large cranes and the elevators, we always use the hydraulic system. The another is the degree of freedom. The 6 degree of freedom you can see in the space. So end effector can have a role of the 6 degree of freedom of a free body. Then another is the locomotion. So there are the two kinds of the stability. One is the statical stability and another is the dynamical stability. The statical stability is that when robot is static in nature, it is balancing the force. But once it is in motion, it is not only balancing the force, but it is also balancing the motion. So when it is the dynamically stable means that the force are balanced in motion. So that kind of features are again understood in the end effectors part. Then another is the manipulation. So you use the different kinds of a joint, rotary joint or the prismatic joint. So all these end effectors are required for the manipulation point of view. So you can see the 4-finger robot, 8 fingers robot, 3 fingers robot, 2 fingers robot. So once you will learn the feature of the dexterous robot, the dexterous robot is that once it can take the right hand decision and left hand decision. So in that way, you can have the both hand are possible in the dexterous robot, and it can work in such kind of the environment. So that is why the end effector guidance and end effectors working is again guided with the artificial intelligence. So you are having many situations like stability, like degree of freedom. If you are having the infinite degree of freedom, what you will do? Naturally, you will use some feature of the intelligence tool so that the dynamics can be reduced to a redundant dynamics so that it can perform the work. So all these features are important. The another part we can see the sensors. So I think nowadays we are living in a world of the sensors. I think as soon as you will increase the number of sensors in your machine, your number of taking data in your perception about the machine will be changed because you are capturing a lot of data in your to take analysis and to implement the new tools and new technology in your field. So I think we have used only very few sensors, but these sensors are not only the starting. This is only the starting, but you will find an infinite number of sensors in robot. So we have used some certain one like force sensor, like tactile sensor, like proximity sensor, like sonar sensor, like visual cameras, and like proprioceptive sensors. So all such kind of the features can be used when the robot can be attached with the camera to take the prospective view from the camera, and it can take its own decisions. So nowadays, I think when we talk about an aerial robot, the aerial robot are basically guided by the different cameras, and you can take the decisions. They can capture the images, and on the basis of the images, they can analyze the image, and they can take on the decision by the image processing. So all those tools are quite applicable in the area of robotics. So after doing this one, there are the few other examples. So we need not to take good of this one. So all these are the different. Badu is a one kind of a robot with the applications of the AI. So which can be used for the stock master, which can be used for ask a doctor. So it can do all those features by its own. So it can be used as a self-awareness programs. So self-awareness programs means whenever you are taking certain decision in the video conference, then who could speak and who could be muted. So that kind of a decision can be taken by the artificial intelligence tool. That as soon as one person will speak, the others will be muted automatically. So as soon as he will complete, he complete the task, the other will take that same feature. All such kind of the decisions, all such kind of the robots are in practice, and they have been made nowadays. So you can have some other features by the defense research, advanced research project can have these kind of a neuromorphic chip and injected nanochips, brain modulations, and the implantable neural devices. So all these features has been created by the human being so that it can better understand the human brains and human neurons so that it can implement into the human machines. So all those features are being used nowadays, and the research is quite open in this area. I think this is one of the field where the lot of people are doing different. They are making the machine intelligent by using the different tools. So that means I think whenever you have to invent, you have to always go with the science. You have to always go with the social sciences. So as soon as you will go with this social sciences and the general sciences, the innovation and the brain will expand with the advanced knowledge so that you can capture the feature of the sciences and the general sciences into your machines and into your robot. So such kind of a feature can be used. After doing this one, I think we can go with a little bit of architecture. So I think I will not go into the detail, but I will give you some small orientation about the architecture. So we use the classical architecture of the robot, but nowadays we are having a behavioral science. So how this behavioral science will act? So first you are having the sensor. The sensor perceive the different knowledge. It has been placed at the different part of a robot. How it can do. The sensor can have the reasons about the behavior of the object. It can have the reasons about the behavior of the object. It can identify the object. It can make the building of the maps, and it can avoid object in case of a collision avoidance. So all this kind of the knowledge can be assimilated with the sensor, and those sensors can stimulate the actuator so that the action can be taken by the end effector. So such kind of a features nowadays are implementing in the behavioral based architecture. So that means you are taking the knowledge of a behavioral science so that you can take some own decisions. So I think we can have the different levels of such behavioral science. So how we are having the crude data and how this data can be extracted. So let us see this kind of the importance in few of the another slides so that it can be effectively used and effectively implemented in case of a robot. So you can see the information representation hierarchy. So it is a hierarchy tree here. So first you are having the raw data. The raw data can give you some cognitive features from the raw data, and those cognitive features you just make a conceptual feature. So after doing this one, you can make a simple concept and interconnected synthesized concept you can make when one or two other simple concept can be added. So you can see there are the different ladders, L1, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and level 5. So level 1, you are having a very crude data. So crude data can be, I think you can see from the internal world with the visual sense, or you can visual sense, you can see the substances, you can see the events, and you can see the different attributes. So first, the scene is being distributed among the three, the substance, event, and the attributes. From these attributes, raw data, you can take some cognitive features. So you can see some cognitive features that from this hut you are seeing this kind of a geometry. From this hut you are taking from this geometry, and from this car you are taking some curve part, some Bezier line. You are seeing some other kind of a symbol. So these are the some visual sense. These are extracted features. These are extracted features from the raw data, and you are seeing some other features like you are having some mountains, some features. So you are taking the information of the real visual sense to some extracted features which can be represented in a cognitive features. So these cognitive features can be used with your conceptual feature in a level 3 world where you can have a has a roof, has a wall, has a room. So such kind of a features you can see here. You can see movement of from inside to outside. So such kind of a features can be seen, and I think the different knowledge can be assimilated from the cognitive features to the conceptual feature. After doing this kind of a conceptual feature, we can have a simple concept. We can concept that if anything is having a roof, if anything has a wall, if anything is having a room, it is nothing but it is a house. Now, from this cognitive feature, we have made the machine learn that it is nothing but a house. So whatever we are visually seeing, how this knowledge can be transferred from our raw data to a simple concept. Now this simple concept can be assimilated with the different kind of a knowledge or the different knowledge which can be called as a interconnected synthesized concept. So when intersized concept means whenever you are having a tree, that means it is static in nature. If the machine is learned to see the car, it can see that it can be moved. So those features can be again inter interconnected with this feature, because if you are having a house, the house is a fixed location. But if it is seeing a car, that means it is not a fixed one. It can move. So in that feature, the movable thing or non-movable thing can be seen and in the eyes of a human being, so that that knowledge can be transferred to a robot or to a machine so that it can basically idealize the different features. So basically, this is not the different label, but you may call it is the different ladders. L1, L2, L3, L4, and L5. L5 is that kind of a feature where the machine can understand those features. So all those features can be extracted from the human being, from the concept of the raw data. So I think that kind of a knowledge is basically required to make the computer to make the information representation tree, and that representation tree can be programmed by the computer scientists so that machine can understand those features, and those features, by those features the machine can take its own decision. So that is basically the important aspect of the artificial intelligence. So I think with this example, I think this example is quite clear. Now this example is expanded in another way. So I think it can have a wide spectrum theory here. So, but the ultimate aim is the same. It is always guided from the raw data to the cognitive features, and from cognitive features to the conceptual feature, from conceptual feature to the simple concept, and from simple concept to the interconnected synthesized concept. So such kind of a concept can be understood by the machine. So this is, I think, many people used to do a very simple programming tool to understand the machine. So all those features can be used. So if you are using some tool for the manufacturing or the digital manufacturing, I think you can make the machine intelligent, capable to take its own decisions. So that is the important part of the architecture of a intelligence tool, how this intelligence tool can be implemented in the robots or any intelligent machines. Now you can see the current development. So we have only learned from the features. Now, can we learn the emotions? Can we learn the integrations of the emotions? Can we learn the perception? So I think these are the current development where the artificial intelligence can be used to understand the real world situations. So one is the emotions, the another is the energy efficiency. The energy efficiency cannot be learned by the machine itself. I think it is the human being, because as soon as we complete our task, we switch off the power. Why we switch off the power? Either we have been trained. So that is the intelligence part of our knowledge. That means if we will switch off the power, that means we are saving the power. And if we are saving the power, it is required for the sustainable development of the nation and the globe. So such kind of a thing is required. So energy efficiency is one of the important part where the robot has to be implemented, where the robot has to think about the energy efficiency, how it can optimize the energy. The another is the integrations. So integrations, it can have the hierarchy of the information representations, the whatever the 5 ladders we have shown. So every aspect, every event can be disintegrated into the different ladders so that information can be gathered from that raw data. Then we are having the control features. So we are having the synthesizes of the neural nets and the fuzzy logics. So that means by the implication of the neural nets or the fuzzy logics, we are optimizing our control structure so that it can be better implemented in our situation. As soon as you can see the robot surgery, I think the telepresence, I think robotic surgeries nowadays is very popular and very much used. And the robot is being taught the each and important functions of your human body, and it can precisely work in such situations, and it can create its own uh, uh, access so that it can work in the human body. And the robot perception. The robot perception is again a very important. If you are making different kinds of faces, your face can be recognized whether you are the sad, whether you are happy, whether you are having a calm situation. So all such kind of a robot perception is being used nowadays with the advent of the AI. So face and object recognition is one of the important tasks for the robot, and I think object recognition is also being used in the different warehouses of the e-commerce business. So e-commerce business, whatever you are having the different component in the different items in the warehouse, and as soon as one item is being ordered, the robot just try to search that object. So it from the memory itself, it can recognize what is this object and where it is being placed. So it can go directly, it can move directly to that part, and if it is very far away, it can transfer the information at the nearby robot, so that the nearby robot can pick up that place, pick up that part and put up in the tray, so that it can be delivered to the customer. So nowadays, such kind of the object recognition theory are being used in the e-commerce business also. And I think Amazon is one of the concern. Walmart is one of the important part in the e-commerce business, where the robot is extensively used for the object recognitions and the locomotion purposes. So you can see now again, we have talked in the previous slide about the importance of emotions. So emotions, what are the emotions? Emotion help prevent people from repeating their mistakes. That means the decision that resulted in the negative feeling. So that means you are making the robot capable to understand the feeling. Yes, that is very true. Nowadays, in the entire world, many people are living a single one, and they require someone who can understand themselves, who can understand uh, their feelings. So nowadays, this kind of a social robot, and you call it a sociable robot, are being useful in the entire world. So I think Kismet or many other kind of a robot has been manufactured by the Japanese companies, so that it can give a sense of belongingness to those persons who are living alone in their houses. So in such a way, they can feel the company of a robot in their world. So let us focus on the emotion also. So recognizing emotions would allow robot to become more responsive to the user's need. And another, exhibiting emotions would help robot to interact with the human. So once the robot is able to understand the emotions, then it can better interact with the human beings. So those are the features. So whenever we talk about the emotions are in the two way, continuous and discrete. So I think as a mechanical engineer or another engineering part, you know the meaning of the continuous and you know the meaning of the discrete. The continuous is those kind of the systems which are having the infinite degree of freedom, whereas in the discrete system you are having a finite degree of system. So in this way you can say the infinite degree of systems are called as a continuous systems, and whereas you are having a finite degree of freedom, it will be called as a discrete system. So whenever the emotions are defined in a continuous way, you are having a multi-dimensional space of attributes. You are having a multi-dimensional space of attributes. So I think you can define this in a arousal valence plane. So arousal valence plane is very much required. So we will show that kind of a plane in the next slide. And another is a discrete emotions. So this defines the 5, 6 or more basic emotional states upon the which make more complex emotions are reached. So that means if you are having some 4 or 5 discrete basic emotions, by combination of these discrete emotions, you can make a complex emotions. So all these emotions can be very much useful to guide the robot in the intelligent environment. So let us talk about few slides on the emotions. So you can see here the arousal valence plane. So when you are having a valence whether emotions are positive. So you can see here the arousals are put on the y-axis, and on axis there are the valence. On this side, you can see on this side the valence are positive, and you can see here the uh, valence are positive, but on this side above this part your arousals are high. So arousals are the strong feeling. What are the arousals called? Arousals are the strong feeling. and these are the low feelings. So when you feel low, these are the low feelings. These are the low feelings. So this diagram can be understood in this way. So in this way, this is the high arousal, this is the low arousal. There is the negative valence and here is the positive valence. So when this is the area where you can have a high arousal or positive valence. This is the area where you are having a high arousal, negative valence. Here you are having the low arousal and positive valence, and here is the low arousal and negative valence. So on this four quadrant, this area is called as a, you are very excited, you feel very delighted, you are very happy. So those features comes in the high arousal and positive valence. When you are having a high arousal, you are having negative valence, so those situations are called you are very tense, you are very angry, you are very frustrated. नहीं आज उसे तोड़ देते हैं, आज उसे फोड़ देते हैं. Such kind of a feeling is called as a, you are having a very high energy at that time, but your valence is the negative valence. That means you are thinking negative in that fashion, but you are very excited state. So those features are called, जहां पर भी हाथापाई धक्का मुक्की होती है, वहां ये वाली सिचुएशंस होती है. ठीक है. और जब आपकी स्ट्रॉन्ग फीलिंग होती है, जब आप बहुत लग के काम करते हैं कि नहीं हमें काम करना है और ये वाला काम करना है, तब आपकी बड़ी स्ट्रॉन्ग फीलिंग होती है, and that will be called as a high arousal positive balance. And if you are having a low arousal and negative valence, so you feel depressed, you feel bored, and you feel tired. That means you are not excited. Excited में तो हम हाथापाई और मैन हैंडलिंग और जो भी कुछ करना है वो कर सकते हैं, लेकिन यहाँ हम वो काम नहीं करते हैं. We feel very depressed, we feel very bored, our options are seems to be closed, और हम चुपचाप बैठ के शांति से बैठ के डिप्रेस होते रहते हैं. तो दिस इज कॉल्ड द लो अराउजल एंड नेगेटिव वैलेंस सिचुएशंस. एंड हियर यू कैन हैव द लो अराउजल. आपके अराउजल जो है, आपकी जो फीलिंग्स है वो थोड़ी लो होती है, but you are the positive balance. So that will be you are content, you are being relaxed, you are calm. So if you are taking relax, you are sleeping, you are watching TV, or you are seeing some scenery, you are seeing some exhibition, or you are playing with a small baby, all such kind of the things will be a low arousal and positive balance. So I think in that way, all those features of the emotions can be translated into the artificial intelligence tool, and you can see the Plutchik theory, where the 8 primitive emotions are that more complex emotions are based upon. So that is the joy, sadness, anger, surprise, acceptance, disgust, expectancy, and fear. So such kind of the 8 primitive emotions are there in a discrete theory, and the previous one which we have understood, it is the continuous theory, but here it is the discrete theory, and more complex emotions can be based on this theory. So all this theory, how it can be assimilated in the intelligent world. So I think you can see the complex emotion first. The emotion can be character, so mortification will be there, and primitive emotions you can have the gladness, sadness, anger, surprise, and you can abstract features on the basis of the physical state and the mental state. So what are the information gathered from the physical state? Either goal achieved, either human relations, either information acquisition, either planning or result of executions. Now in this part, you can have the physical features, primitive features, confirmation, discovery, and achievement, acquisition, and praise. And with this praise, you can have the current state, physiological memory, physiological state, desire, such kind of the data, and that can be perceived, desire intent, memory learning, planning creation, action expression, and language. So all this complexity of the emotional classification can be made so that, and this tree can be useful so that your emotion can be implemented artificially way in your machines. So such kind of a features, I think this is one of a you may call is the emotion tree. So with this emotion tree, you can extract the feature of the emotions and implement in your machines so that your machine will be artificially intelligent to guide you in the to understand your feeling as well. So after doing this one, let us move very fast. We are having a very small time. So this is a very Kismet is smiling. Kismet is some kind of a robot which is artificially made in Japan, and it can have the behavioral response of either social or a self-maintenance functions. So such kind of a robot are being used nowadays in industry also. In the industry also, this kind of the robot are being used to perceive the behavior of the customer, to understand the behavior of the client, to understand the behavior of the employees, to understand the behavior and other features of the interacting people. So I think these are the different emotions from the Kismet, nothing to be made. All such features we have learned from the previous slides. Now let us have the current implementation. So when you are having a current implementation in the industrial world, the industrial robot is used in factories to manufacturing box and pack and wrap merchandise. So you can see it can be used in the car manufacturing world, and you will be amazed to know that around 50% of the today's world robot is being used in the car manufacturing. And that is, and I think whenever you are working of the car manufacturing world, I think the intelligent vehicle, the driverless car, the flying car, I think these are the certain variety where the robot and where the automobile manufacturer are moving in this direction. So you can see the applications of the robot in the industrial world. And robot can be used in the hazardous situations. I think we have used already in the nuclear power plant, response to the bomb threat, and outer space exploration. So it can be guided, I think, Chandrayaan 2 or Chandrayaan 2, the robot is being sent in the space so that it can explore the moon surface and it can extract some soil from the moon soil. So those features can be used for the extraction purposes, and they can be used for the underwater robot also to understand the different flora and fauna available in the ocean world or in the aqua world. So such kind of features can be used in the manufacturing in the these are the different diverse applications of the robot. After doing this one, let us have the ASIMO robot. So ASIMO is a name of a robot which can be used for the advanced step in the innovative mobility. So such kind of an innovative tool can be used for in the space. So you can see how the robot can be moved in the space. So all this kind of a robot can be used as a ASIMO robot, which is being programmed to take its own decision in the exploration area. And you can see from a few of the important features in the Asimov recognition theory. So how it can making the measurement of a individual, how can it can take the fingerprints, how can it take the facial expressions, how can take it the different dimensions of the human body. All those visual aspects can be integrated in in the in the memory of a robot, so that it can easily diagnose who is this person, who is this person. So those features can be extracted and assimilated. Now you can have the IGO system. So IGO system is again prototype with a small body camera and microphones, batteries, which is used for the trouble balancing. And this first generation is developed in 1999 in the Japan. I think this is a robot which can play football. So I think this kind of a robot are being implemented by taking the idea of the artificial intelligence. But this is only for the gaming purposes, but nowadays such kind of a robot can be used in the industrial world as well, where they can take their own decision. Because whenever you are working on a machines, how your weld is being made, how your machining is being done, how your assembly is being done, such kind of features can be required the day-to-day decisions. And also the whenever you are manufacturing, you require the dimension measurement. So dimension measurement is automatically taken by the robot, and robot can say that yes, dimension is achieved. There is no need to measurement. So I think in this way you can reduce a much more production time to some other useful work, and those features can be used in that way. So there are some certain difference between the IO and specification. So all these are the architectural features of the AIBO robots. And after that, there is a one more robot which is used as a cog, which is basically based on the brain. So I think cognitive features of the brain has been used for the heterogeneous network for the different processors. So all those, whenever you are using a brain, means you require a very high degree of processors and also the Ethernet. So all such kind of features with the PCB and PSI is required to make such kind of a robot, which can be used to percept the different data. And you are having a different sensors, you are having a different sensor so that it can take a decision in a good way. So I am just so all these are the core features from the architectural point of view. So now we will talk about the roadblocks in the research of interactive activity. So these are the roadblock means we have been shift attention from the manufacturing to the design process and from single capability to the multiple capability. So now if you are having a single capability, your options are limited. But if you are having a multiple capability, your options are limitless. So such kind of features can be used. So these are the problems nowadays which we found in the sensing, vision, mobility, design, control, and reasoning algorithm. So such kind of features can be used. Such kind of the research is open. So sensing means we require the cost of tactile sensor very high, range limit, whether it is a light range, required range will be 10 meters. So such kind of the problems are there. Visions are also, whether you are having a corner recognition, whether you are having a, so all vision include the image processing part. So how you are analyzing your images. So image processing part can be taken, and whether there are the overlap of the object, how you can differentiate those objects. So such kind of a feature can be used with the help of AI. The mobility, I think we have already discussed. The design include the control of robot after the constructions part, and actuators are often too big, slow, or difficult to control. So such kind of a feature we can use it, and we can have the reasoning algorithm. So reasoning algorithm, we have the AI has slowly been introduced into the industrial world, and further refinement in this field before faster progress of robotics. So I think we are just in the infancy stage of the robotics where the AI is being used, but you will find some middle time and some the peak time. So if it will be the peak time, you will see the wonders of such robot in the manufacturing world. So, and these are the different knowledge field of the computer. So where you have the symbologist, connectionist, evolutionist, Bayesians, and analyzers. So such kind of the role are being performed in the area of the artificial intelligence, which fill in the gaps in the existing knowledge. Connections evaluate the brain, evolutionists stimulate evolutions, Bayesians systematically reduce uncertainty, and analyzers analogizers are the notice similarities between the old and the new. So such kind of the features nowadays are being used. So I think this has been given the different origins and the key algorithm from the programming point of view, and we are not going through the detail of this kind of a programming now. Now, future of the robots are required for the downsizing, the greater intelligence. It is having a great synergism and more environmental friendly. So such kind of features are required for the future aspect of the robot. You required for the design robot to recognize presence, posture, and gaze, develop viable and social exchange between the robot and the human, and you design systems that can learn and learn via reinforcement. So this is for the reinforcement learning. So I think this is one of the important tool of the machine learning that is called the reinforcement learning. And legal rights. Nowadays, the moral dilemmas are also there. That means you have to adopt certain kinds of the ethics. So I think the ethics cannot be compromised. So legal rights of the autonomous beings replacing humans in the workplace, ethics of deleting intelligent robot. So that means if you are having an intelligent robot and if we do something wrong, they can murder us. So that kind of a ethics we have to also taught to the machines, and creating helpful sentiment robots were saying, playing God. So that kind of a creations. I think biological robot is one of the robot where you can make it's your own console. So that kinds of the ethics we have to train. So after doing this one, I think we can show you the today's factory aspect where the robot can be used. So you can see the workstation 1, workstation 2, workstation 3, and so on. So it is some way you can call it as a rigid sequence. It is a rigid sequence car manufactured on a production line, and in this way, after the 4 workstation, it will be loaded in the vehicle for the delivery. But nowadays, this kind of a concept has been changed, and you are having a decoupled, fully flexible, and highly integrated manufacturing system where you are having n number of workstations, and they have been there is a no systematic flow lines. Any machines can take any of the workstation input, and in this way the overall work can be performed. So it will be some sort of a decoupled, flexible, and highly integrated. So such kind of a features can be used with the help of robot manufacturing in the to transform the manufacturing area. So this is the previous slide is for the you can see is the today's factory, and this is for the tomorrow's factory. So I think with this point of view, I just stop this lecture, but this lecture is only to make you orient in the direction of robots and AI. So with this one, thank you very much for your patience hearing. And if you are having certain questions, you can ask me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for such a wonderful session. And novice people like me must have got a faint idea of what robotics and AI is all about.
Thank you, Pushpinderji. Very nice to have you in this session.
Sir, it was my pleasure, sir. And I hope all the participants must have enjoyed.
So if there is having certain questions, I think we are having 10 minutes time.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
that
yes.
we can interact, and if they are having certain problems in this area of robotics, they can discuss.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes, yes. Just one question from my side, sir. Actually, out of curiosity,
Yes,
I
yes.
just wanted to ask that have the research or the scientific community reached a point wherein smart materials and AI can work together?
Yes, I think they can be the material. When we talk about the material scientist, so I think you have learned the different aspect of the material scientist, the structure of the material. So structure of the material is possible FCC, BCC, and HCP. So if you are inventing a new material, so from the structural point of view, the different options available can be adjudged by the implication of the AI. So if you are having the different structure, you are having the different material.
Right, sir. Right. Thank you so much, sir. We have one question in a chat box. I'll just read it out,
please.
sir.
I have not opened the chat box.
Huh.
I don't know where I have to open it.
I'll just read it out, sir.
Okay,
What are
okay,
the
please.
challenges in robotics in India and future in Indian context?
Yes, I am not listening.
Sir, it says
दाद्या
what
क्या
are
बात
the
है
what are the challenges in
जाओ
robotics
उसमें
in
फोन में
India
मम्मी
and
Yes.
future in Indian context? What
There are
the
a lot of challenges.
Sir.
There are a lot of challenges in the Indian context because as far as concerned with the implication of the robots in manufacturing, I think slowly we are implementing the robot. But you will find in the most of the automobile manufacturer, they are using only a fixed kind of a robot. Only the robotic manipulator are being used. Those are not the intelligent robot because they are not taking certain kinds of a feedback. But if you will see the robot aspect, yes, I think all of you remember the Chandrayaan-2 missions where you are having a Vikram lander and a robot will come and take the walk on a robot moon surface. So I think ISRO is using such kind of a robot in the space exploration. And as far as concerned in the application in the real industrial world as an intelligent robot is very minimum in the Indian context, and that is a very wide scope is nowadays open for the intelligent robot in the manufacturing itself.
Right, so thank you so much. Anyone else in the participants, if you would like to ask a question, then platform is open for you. Kindly unmute yourself and ask the question.
Yes, please.
Sir, I want to ask two questions.
Yeah, please.
Can the development of AI in robotics and automation could be the reason for job losses in Indian manufacturing system or global manufacturing system?
No, I don't think that there is a job losses, but there is a explosion of job. If you are the mechanical engineer and if you will stick to the mechanical engineering, nowadays the applications of the job is now changing. If you are having the different role, if you are having a different role of as a mechanical engineering, if you are using in the manufacturing, if you are as a robotic engineering, so lot of people are required for the maintenance of the robot. Many people are required for the task and scheduling of the robot. So I think the role of engineers will not be lost, but it will be exploded because in that situation it will produce more. So when it will be produced more, that means the market is expanding, and you will apply more or more such kind of a technology in your manufacturing. So I think the whenever we see the role of robot, it will see that it is eating some employment. Yes, it is eating some role, but it is creating the different roles. Okay, na? If it is eating one role, it is creating 5 new roles. So that is why the problem of unemployment is not due to the advent of technology of robotics and AI.
And my second question is, sir,
Mhm.
the great theoretical physicist and scientist of the 21st century, Stephen Hawking, had once said that
Mm.
the full development of the artificial intelligence can lead to the end of the human race, as we seen in the movie Terminator, Matrix, and Robo 2.0, that the
Yes,
Rajnikant
you are very, very right because uh, they are going with the extent of the artificial intelligence. That means everyone is you cannot understand whether it is a human being or a artificial tool or a artificial agent. So such kind of a thing, I think whatever he has said, I think he is the father of the scientific fictions. So I think those will be useful. I think whenever you will see the different movies of the scientific fictions, I think those are having some advent of the newer technology, and many new technology has been advanced through the scientific fictions. So I think that is only the scientific fictions we can understand.
Thank you.
Yes. Anyone else? Anyone else?
I think so. That will be all for today.
Hello.
Yes. Anyone of you?
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, in context of architecture of future high-speed railway, means
Yeah.
AI is already introduced in the high-speed railway.
Your voice is not clear. Can you repeat
Sir,
it again? Yes.
in the context of architecture of future high-speed vehicle, means AI already introduced in the railway system. But how, apart from the automation, how can the can be the part of railway?
I think how the AI can be used for the railway.
No, can be the part of railway industry.
I think your voice is have Pushpinderji, can you repeat the question?
Yamika, can you type it down in the chat box, please? Your voice is.
Because the voice is not
Yes,
very
sir.
audible. Voice is not very audible.
Yes, sir. Wait a minute.
You please write. Any other questions? In the meantime,
Participants, anyone, if you would like to ask something, please feel free.
Yes. Yamika, have you written the chat box? Yes.
Yes, she written. Her question is, apart from optimization, how AI can improve the high-speed railway industry?
Yes, I think when you are using a high-speed railways in the just like the bullet train and all, the artificial intelligence can be used for optimizing the path, optimizing the utilization of the track. So that can be used for optimizing the scheduling, optimizing the maintenance, and optimizing the other features so that it can be most effectively used. So I think if you know that the cost of investment in the bullet train and high speed train is very huge, and you want to recover that cost in a minimum time. So if you want to recover that cost in a minimum time, you require to use the facility at the fullest. So if you are using that the capacity at the fullest, you have to implement the AI tools for its optimization reasons. So that is the implications in the railway industry. Yes, you got it answer, Yamika?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Thank you so
Yes.
much, sir. Thank you.
So if
Anyone else from the participant, if you would like to ask something? Sir, I think
so,
that's all
so
for
again,
today.
I
We are
would like
running
to
out of time.
congratulate the organizers for inviting me in this session and to share my views on this new aspect of the robotics with AI. So I think I would congratulate the both organizers, Professor Pushpendra Singh ji and Professor Qasim Murtaza, for giving me opportunity to talk you and to interact you in this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you again. And on behalf of the entire organizing committee, we really thank you and appreciate your valuable time that you shared your experience with us. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Participants, our next session will begin from 2:30 p.m. So this is a lunch time. So I request you all to join by 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon. Thank you so much. Deepak, you can end the meeting, please.
Okay, sir. Thank you.